and welcome to the April edition of Corner Office. I'm here with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. How you doing, Mayor?
Fantastic.
That's what I love to hear. And I am so glad that you tuned in today because we have a very special announcement. However, it's not up for me to break this news. Mayor, can you please fill our audience in on what the big news is?
It's kind of surprising how fast it's spread around because I just met with Chuck Thibodeau this morning from the Recreation Department, and we're going to be turning those tennis courts
That's not what I'm talking about.
Down at Bigelow School into pickleball courts. So we're going to be making permanent pickleball courts down there. I told them get moving on it, get the bid out, and let's get those things done in the spring.
That's clearly not what I'm talking about.
Are you kidding me? The public wants to see the pickleball courts.
Of course. I need to. Do you play pickleball?
Not yet, but I guess I'm going to have to learn.
You're going to have some time to play pickleball.
There you go.
I'll let our audience know. After 30 years of service to the city, our mayor here has announced his retirement.
Yep, I guess you'd call it that.
It's hard to separate yourself.
No, it's been a great run. It really has. I mean, I had no intention on sticking around when I took either job. When I was fortunate to get elected to the city council, I was convinced to do it by then Mayor Mike Hogan, and you know, I said, just appoint me. If you can appoint me, I'll do it. I don't know about this campaigning thing. We didn't have a political family, so we weren't involved in that. I helped him a little bit, but that was it. But it got me started, and the funniest story is, and I'll just tell this one before we go on, but so after inauguration, I have a little bit to eat. I go back to my accounting office a couple doors down. It was probably 4, 5, 6, 7 days later, Karen Bully called me and said, "Are you coming over here?" And I said, "For what?" And she said, "Well, you got a meeting on Monday night. You got a mailbox here and it's full." It's like, full of what? And she said, "Come over and visit." So I went over there, and she broke me in. So, but I didn't know anyone involved at all. Mike Hogan had left and gone to Boston, and I ended up enjoying it.
Wow. So my plan is we're not going to get mushy right now and say our goodbyes right now. We still have a few more of these episodes coming up, quite a few more. So my plan in the future months is to spend some time speaking about current operations in the city, projects we have going on, and then spend a little time reminiscing about the past 30 years, if that sounds good to you.
No, great.
Awesome. So first, let's continue on the retirement train. What are your plans? Are you staying in Marlboro? Are you are you turning into a snowbird, going down south?
No. I'm making. I'm actually building a little house in Marlboro, so I'm staying.
Awesome.
I don't know how frustrated I'm going to get driving around knowing I can't make a decision, but I'm staying.
Wonderful. The theme of this first reminiscence I'd like to talk about is ambition and inspiration. So it was 30 years ago that you first got involved in city politics and management. Did you always have political aspirations?
Never once.
So what drew you?
Even to be mayor, it just was never something that crossed my mind. And when it came time, I went up and talked to Mayor Stevens at the time, and you know, we talked about it a little bit, and I decided to run when she decided not to run, and the rest is kind of history. But
that first time you ran for city council, though,
Mike
where
Hogan
did that come from?
Convinced me to run, and I didn't even know what a city councilor did. I didn't know the rules. It's something we've talked about doing in the city when a new city councilor takes office, or even doing something prior to that, to kind of give them what the purpose of the council is and what they're the legislative body. You know, they appropriate money, they approve the budget, they do ordinances, they do projects, things like that. There's an executive that runs the day-to-day operations, and they make mostly money and ordinance decisions. But there really should be more of an education, because I was completely blind when I got there.
So once you had that education by fire, you're thrust into city council. Did you grow to love public service? And what was the hook that's kept you here for all these years?
I think, you know, they say helping a person out, but it's really that probably gives me more satisfaction today than before when we get that email and we can help someone out. But seeing things like, the projects that we've done over the years, the senior center, the school, the Apex Center, the huge growth in the New England Sports Center, it's really the parks and facilities that we've done in the city, our 3 turf fields. Graduation day is always a fantastic day in the city when you get down there and watch these kids that are just starting off really as their adult life, either going on to work or going on to college, or many go into the military, which is fantastic. So it's just certain things during the year, Labor Day, when you come down in the morning and you walk up and down Main Street and people start gathering, and the bed races are the first thing to go off in the morning. Actually, the road race is first to go off, but that's too early for me. So I come down for the bed race usually, and I'll run down the police station and say hi to people, and then go park my car for the parade and walk up the hill. So it's just certain things that you do annually. I've been doing it for 30 years. And
after 30 years, it becomes almost a routine.
It is definitely a routine.
And one of your morning routines, I know, is you drive around the city.
It was kind of funny because we started thinking about that, and Trish asked me, what do you think I've done? And I kind of figured out it's probably been about 30,000 miles that I've driven over the last 30 years. Because it's usually about 4 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week. It's always 15 or so miles. I've been doing it since I was on the council, but now I actually have a say in how to fix some things.
Right.
So I'll talk into my dictaphone on my phone and go back with a list of, here, take care of this. So no, it's the only way you get out and see the projects. We've had people that have tried to run the DPW or the city from their office, and you can't do it.
Yeah.
So
in the coming months, some of the topics I think we could talk about are some of the big projects, some of the challenges you've tackled over 30 years. And I'd even like to talk about some of your mentors and people that have helped to influence your career trajectory here. But if you're watching and you have any specific questions for Mayor Vigeant, send us an email and maybe we'll pass them along. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see how easy they are.
We'll see. We'll vet them all. Absolutely. So let's get into some current projects that we have going on. So I park a lot in the right on Weed Street across from the Crown Fried Chicken, and I see they're building some weird structures over there. What's going on?
So MEDC actually was able to get a grant to kind of help out the downtown area this year. Obviously, we have a lot of construction going on. It's going to get worse. We have 2 years of this, so we got to just
brace
suck it up and try to work through it. So just as something to help out and bring people down here a little bit, Lost Shoe is going to do the farmers market for us again this year, which is great. We're going to have entertainment again this year through the farmers market through Saturdays. It always has worked out well, but back of City Hall is going to be all dug up also. So we're trying to maneuver with Melinda over to Lost Shoe and try to figure out what works for her to make sure it's successful. In addition to that, the grant is to pay for 3 pop-up stores, retail type places. If you go down to Boston or the Seaport or wherever, they have the pop-up retail places. They sell jewelry, or they'll sell blankets, or just have different types of things there. So MEDC's been taking applications from people to rent these 3 spots. Some want it for the season, some want it for a week, some want it for a month. So to piece it all together, and hopefully it works along with the farmers market and all that Lost Shoe does, and just try to build a little bit of energy down here through a difficult period. So
even during the summer, I imagine when you have the concerts happening, if those pop-up shops are open, people might wander over and check it out.
That's what we're hoping for, and if it works, we'll buy 5 more. If it doesn't work, we'll use the shed somewhere else.
There you go. So you said that there is some construction happening right behind City Hall as well. What's the plan over there?
Yeah, the whole thing, so right now we're just doing the gas lines down Main Street and on the side streets. That should be done in the next couple of weeks, and then we get out and start doing our sewer projects, some water repairs. There's some sidewalk repairs that need to be done. But the front of City Hall, that whole walking area in front of City Hall and across the street where the parking lot is all going to be blown up and done over.
Oh, wow.
And in back of City Hall, we're redoing the entire thing in all of Weed Street. So we're going to try to make it more walkable and usable for the residents in the city to come down and enjoy it.
Walkable and usable, those are some
There you
good
go.
words right there. Let's talk about, I just saw a little article in the Community Advocate that Urban Affairs Committee had approved site plans for 57 Main Street. That's the old funeral parlor,
Yeah,
is that right?
yeah.
So what's going on over there?
It's a project that's obviously brought a little attention to it. So several years ago, the City Council approved an ordinance for downtown village district that, by right, allows certain things. This developer, we have 4 approved sites down here, and we haven't been able to get them off the ground, and it's been a little frustrating. But this one's ready to go. They came in for site plan approval from the council, and it started drawing some attention because of the different parking that is allowed by right under the new ordinance that was approved by the council a few years ago. So these people came in and they're doing it by right. And I know the parking is the concern of some.
But because it's a downtown city area,
yeah.
there is parking available.
We have parking, we pulled 2 houses down and put parking across from the deck center up on Bolton Street. So there's parking there. We have the parking garages. If you go out back right now, the top deck is half full. The rest of it is being used, but the top deck has availability. The one behind the Curry building, the top deck probably has 3 cars in the entire area. So we're trying to build that. If you go up to Rocks, they have no parking. You go to Welly's for dinner, they have 0 parking.
Right.
La Shoe has 0 parking.
And they're doing plenty of business.
And they're doing plenty of business. So it's really the whole intent when the council took this on back 4, 5, 6 years ago was to bring the walking traffic and the people downtown.
Because it's going to be a mixed-use building,
It's
right?
going to be a mixed-use building. There's not as much. I would like to see a little more commercial downstairs, but it's done, and we're going to see a lot of activity. So I'm hoping that we can work this out, and everyone sees that there's some opportunity here, and we have 3 more of these projects that have been approved. So this is almost like a test kitchen.
And they're all in this
Well,
zoned
we have
area?
the big hole on Main Street. It's going to be a while. We're not doing too well with her. We've been in court with her now several times to try to clean that up. The one over at the old Maryland Green real estate office, the buildings have been raised now, so he's looking to move forward. The original project over Fish probably won't happen, but that was also approved by the council a number of years ago.
Wow.
So.
I'd like to switch gears a little bit
Yeah.
and talk about something a little more fun.
Okay.
During the summertime, your offices are suddenly swarming with youth, with the young people, because you have this fantastic summer intern program.
Yeah.
So how does that work? They're usually college interns, and they get to choose a department or apply for a
So we started this, I think, probably 10, 11 years ago when I first became mayor, and it's worked great. It really has. So we have 2 programs that we run. One with Mass Hire, where we get some of the high school kids involved and find them work for the summer, whether it's a DPW or one of the offices in City Hall or up at the CDA. We've had them in the
Mass
MEDC.
Hire is terrific. Even here at WMCT-TV, we've had 3
Yep.
Mass Hire interns.
Absolutely.
And for anyone who's watching, just look into this program if you're in the area, because it allows us, an organization like us, where we don't necessarily have the funding to bring in endless amounts of interns. It gives us this opportunity to have some extra staff members, and it's just really been inspiring to have these.
It's great.
these
So
kids.
we have that program. We work with them, and we give over a dozen kids a job in the summer. Then we have the college internship program where we bring in college kids.
A little more serious.
A little higher level job, but I tell the department heads and anyone interested, it's not to have kids in a seat doing nothing all summer.
These aren't kids to get your coffee.
That's right.
This is legitimate work
These are the
here.
projects that you have sitting on the shelf that you don't have time to do, bring these kids in. Most of them are unbelievable. We haven't had, I think the first one we had an issue with because they had never had a job before. So it was
a learning curve.
It was a learning curve. The employee turned out to be one of our stars. Once they figured out what they needed to be doing there, it was to have a good leader and a good mentor to tell them what they needed to do. It worked out, and it's great. We have one of our interns, Chad Carter, that's now heading up our CDA. He came in as one of our college interns 7, 8 years ago, and now he's heading up the whole thing.
No way.
Yeah, and we just hired the intern that I had in my office last year. She's graduating from college this year, and she's going to be starting with us June 1st.
Wonderful.
She's going to be my new admin in the office.
Oh, terrific.
So it's a great program, and the whole intent is to get people familiar with some municipal government jobs. And, you know, it's been difficult out there to find help, but this program's worked pretty well for us.
Especially once they know that there is potentially a pipeline down the road to come in and actually get hired by the company. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. One other little thing I saw, there's a new textile recycling program. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, they wanted to pop up a few of these boxes around the city to donate clothing or different textile type.
Yeah, textiles are notably hard to recycle.
Right.
These fabrics are really difficult to deal with.
The boxes get me a little crazy when you drive down and you go by a convenience store and they have a box there and there's stuff all around the front and the side of it and overflowing, doesn't get picked up. So I said, why don't we try one? Let's see if it works, see if people are donating and it doesn't get messy. If that works, we'll get a couple more. So right now there's one down at the DPW. You can swing by there at any time on Neal Street. It's right on the side of the building. You can't miss it. Come down and drop your stuff off, get it out of your house.
Right.
Don't throw it in the trash. Put it down there and we'll get some use out of it. We worked with a company that's going to take it away for us.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for you today. Anything else you want to close out with?
No, remember those pickleball courts, though. They're going to be a freaking...
Is that real, though?
That's real, I told you. I'm telling you. You asked me for a big announcement. That's it.
I thought you were pulling my leg.
No, it's real.
Okay.
It's real. The court's down. They've been after me for a couple of years on that. And
I never even picked up a racket.
Well, we picked up a couple tips, and they're going to help. The pickleball group is going to help us out with paying for it. So
wonderful.
Yep.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Corner Office here with Mayor Arthur Vigeant. I'm Ryan Maliar. Thank you so much for tuning in, and take care.